Hey Chooms, it's Hollow here, coming at you with another video. This time we're going to be looking at how to rig and apply animations. So if you didn't see part 1, where I showed how to export the characters from the game into Blender, go check that out. I'm going to put that on the screen as well as link it in the description. This is part 2. We're going to go over the rigging and how to apply an animation. We are in the blend from part 1 where we left off. We've just imported Panam. She should look like this. We've done nothing else to her except for import her into Blender. The first thing I like to do is get rid of all these extra armatures, and a fast way to do that is to jump over to the Blender file here, go to the Armatures tab, and just go ahead and select all these, right click and delete because we don't need them. And I'll show you why right now. Go back to our view layer, hit the End tab to go to our Cyberpunk add-on, and we want to load a bundled rig. Now, some NPCs have their own rig. Most just use a generic rig, like man base or woman base, but Panam happens to have her own, so we're going to choose hers and then click OK. And just like that, we've imported Panam's rig, but nothing is actually attached to the armature yet. So to do that, we're going to want to select all of her meshes. So I like to go from the top all the way down to her last mesh. Then click her armature last while holding shift. Go down to our mesh tools and change armature target to, we've only got one armature option because we've deleted all the others. So choose Panam full. And make sure you uncheck also reparent selected meshes to the armature. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to separate things like clothing and stuff like that later. So I'm going to uncheck that and hit OK. Sometimes you get this warning. I'm not sure why. Something got caught up in there that is not a mesh that it doesn't like. Let's try it again. And that time it worked. Okay. Just being weird. And now if you select her mesh, go to pose mode, you'll be able to see she's actually posing. And she is actually riggable. Alright, now to get the actual animation, we're going to head over to WovenKit, create a new project. I'm just going to call it Panam Anims. The animation files are abbreviated with anims in the files, and once WovenKit is loaded up, we're going to do a search for Panam locomotion and then anim, because that's the kind of file that we want. And here's some of her animations. Now the one that I want to use for our example is just her normal walk, and we've got two options. We've got a relaxed and then a relaxed slow. So why not, let's just get them both. And go ahead and add them to the project, hit refresh, export all. And now once you've exported the anim file and you go back to Blender, when you import these, you're going to import them as GLBs. They're not going to be entity files like the characters themselves. So make sure you choose Cyberpunk GLTF right here. And you're going to head over to wherever you created your project. Panam's animations, raw, base, animations, NPC, main characters, Panam, locomotion, and here's our two animations. So I want to use the slowed version. Just click import. And once it's imported, you really don't need it, so go ahead and just turn off that collection. Now, for this part to actually work, you have to select her armature. Then we're going to go down here to our dope sheet and switch it to Action Editor. Now that we're here, you hit this drop down and there's her animations. So we have a few options: idle to walk, walk and then walk to idle. I'm just going to do idle to walk, and you can see it ends at about frame 23. So I'm going to just end our frame range to 23. When we hit play, she's going to walk. That's actually shorter than I thought, so let's go back and import the other walk animation. Same story. Go ahead and just hide it so it's out of the way. Choose her armature. Go back to our action editor. And now you can see we've got a lot more options here. So let's look for just a normal walk here, like this, walk armature. All right, there we go. This one is a little bit longer. Looks like it's going to end on frame 89. So let's go ahead and tell Blender to stop at frame 89. That way she will loop. And if we hit play, we get our walk animation. It's as easy as that. Probably add a light. And there you go. You've got Panam's walk animation, and it will loop pretty seamlessly. And you can do this for really any of the animations in the game, and there's literally thousands upon thousands of animations. I mean, even in the one that we imported, let's pause this, take a look back at our drop down. Got to make sure you have your armature highlighted. Let's see, what else do we have here? We got walk to idle 180. Let's see what that looks like. This ends at frame 62. So she's going to walk and then she's going to stop. And this is great for if you want to use a character in the background and you don't want to have to worry about posing them. You can kind of dig through the files in WovenKit and look for an animation that is similar to what you want. Like maybe you just want her to stand there with her arms crossed or something like that. You can find all kinds of animations. Maybe a combat animation, an injured animation, the romance animations. You can really find them all. And that's about it. That'll do it for the rigging and animation. Maybe just one more note while we're here. I know it can be a little overwhelming to see all of these dots, but really, it's not too hard to tell which ones do what because of the relationship lines. So clearly this is her shoulder because it moves her arm. It's connected to, or actually this is her arm. It's connected to her shoulder. And it's going to tell you the name. This is her throat. It's connected to, let's try and find her neck in here. Somewhere in the middle, neck one, there you go. And you can see all of the other bones that it's connected to. So if we wanted to just change the direction she's looking, just rotate her neck. And the reason I like to use the game armature is, for one, it's really easy, and for two, you still get control of these face bones. And these are really nice because you can actually do a little bit of posing with the face. Maybe you want to give her a smile. Something like that. And it's just better than not having any at all or having to manually rig it. If you guys got anything out of this video or you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like. I'm going to try and keep this series going and eventually take it all the way to the process of creating a render. If you guys want to see that, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.